Hey there, team, and welcome back to Silmarillion. This is one with me. There's a little 2v2 pitch battle going on here. Again, this is from about 2 years ago, so I'm a little bit rusty, maybe, and also Silmarillion is, of course, in a very different state than this now. Playing as Angband today, which is a pretty simple faction to get your head around usually. Good armor across the board, good numbers, morale is concerning sometimes. So just keep your general alive and you're generally gonna be able to push through a lot. I got my arbalists up front, my nasty crossbow boys there, dished out some armor upgrades for one of them. Yep, got some armor upgrades for some of the boys, not the others. It's like, or maybe not. No, I think I was just looking at some different helmets. Over on the side there, got some thralls. Again, I like range power. Not so much to kill the enemy with, but to give me control of the flow of the battle. So I don't, I want you to have to charge me, not me have to charge you. That's basically the reason I take range units. Behind that, Wrenches of Angband. Then Iron-shod Legionnaires here. I have beefed up their armor. As you can see, they're looking quite majestic with their capes. Far more superior than just the standard orcish trash that you're used to seeing, perhaps. Yeah, I got some real supreme boys there. Mainly just, again, I like to be able to rely on my sword and board. I like to be able to, throw them in and know that they should be able to go toe-to-toe with what I'm going up against. And then, yeah, again, armor upgrades for my halberd line. No shields mean that I need the armor for them. And because I tend not to put my shield, unlike a lot of players, I tend not to give them a shield wall line in front. Sometimes I'll do that if I know I'm going to be going through some withering fire, then I'll pop a shield line in front, but if not, usually I'm okay. Find them Scourges of Gothmog here. Not a unit I usually take, but I thought, stuff it. Yeah, I'm lacking a little bit of aggression. Let's grab the Scourges. Some Ravagers in the back here. Again, armor upgrades for the boys. I'm dishing them out today. Spearguard of the Iron Crown. Tormentors of the Iron Crown there. Heavy sort of mace and shield bin for some of that AP. Double Troll Guard of Gothmog. And the Bulldogs of Angband. So very, I guess basic army. I tend not to go, it tends to just be a rule I tend to follow. For my own playstyles. I don't tend to go for monsters all that much in games. I tend not to go for very high risk units. To my side, I've got Panthan here. He is playing as the horrors of Nan Dungorthip. So yeah, very monstrous type of force here. So he's got his spider riding archers, very menacing. Then over here, oh goodness sake, Thin Beast Hunters. Very lightly armed, I believe, but archers are archers. An arrow is still fearsome. More Beast Hunters on the side. Behind them, some of these Skull Splitters. Sort of very light. Oh no, they're. What are they? Are they just light double axemen? They're not throwing anything, I believe. Just coming at you with those little axes. Not AP, I don't believe. Of course, they're splitting your skull, not your helmet. Behind them, the Flesh Feasters. They're a bit more fearsome, wearing, in some cases, salvaged armor from my own type of forces as they've slipped into their lands. And then in the back here, the Predators with their javelins. Again, the bulk of their force is very lightly armed. Even these Flesh Feasters are, no shield. Decent armor, but no shield. So very vulnerable to range fire. We do have these massive spiders. The Brood Mothers. So 20. So it's one unit, I believe, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spiders. Yes. You could probably count. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 guys on each. So yeah, plus the generals decided to ride on that. Bit risky to pop your general on something like that, but very thematic. Very nice to see. And then more Predators. There might be something that pops up from being hidden, but we'll see. We'll go to 0.2 speed, because we've got a bit of a distance. Our enemies today, Finarfin, played by Swampert. So up front, he's got his Archers of Talith Dernan. Behind them, Marksmen of Nargothrond. So immediately, we are outranged. As much as I like to be able to compete in the range game, just from that alone, we are stuffed. Wardens and Bridge Wards of Nargothrond. So fearsome defensive line. More wardens in the back. More wardens, goodness sake. And then Swordsmen of Talathernan, they do throw their little... It's the detachment version, and they've not received an armor upgrade, I don't believe. I think they get, not so much a chest plate, but I think they do get something on their chest once they receive that, unless I'm mistaken. But either way, it's 2 detachments there for a little bit of javelin fire, and then of course just going toe-to-toe in their sword and board. The Company of Prince Gwendor, though, certainly a solid unit to have, and slice and dice their way through a lot of our orcs. The Sartor Finderato, and the Arquini. So the elites, very much going to be tough to deal with. Sturdy pikeline, going to be tough to go, well, yeah, tough to get through, but perhaps lacking in the mainline troops to hold back our tide. Over here, though, there is the Realm of Dor Cuarthol, which was quite, by the time of this recording, was a brand new faction, pretty much. So we were all kind of unsure how to play them, and this was the first time I'd ever actually gone against them. So he's got his Arthur Beleg up here. Really gorgeous looking armor on those guys. I like that. Very ranger-esque, of course. Heavy axes on their backs to get through my sturdier armor. A poison arrows coming in first, which again, my low morale, that's going to be very, very spicy. Guardsmen of the 2 captains behind them. Lots and lots of guardsmen. More of these Farothir on the left flank to again throw out the poison arrows at me. The Dread Helms over here. Are they AP? I think they are, but I think they throw something maybe too. Yeah, they've got those little war hammers in their hands, but I think they throw something. Raiders behind them. Brigands too. Huntsmen of the 2 captains. Old Company of the House of Ransom. 2 more arrow fire. Oh, I like that helmet. That's very cool. Over here, Lancers of the 2 captains. 2 Lancers of the 2 captains. And that's that, I think. Maybe some more hidden units. And I don't actually have any wargs. I didn't take any wargs today. A bit spicy. Now, of course, the wargs, Angband's wargs don't have an anti-cavalry bonus. They're more just to catch things. You can see I've already been absolutely blitzed. But it's just my thralls taking this damage. So it is what it is. We'll go to 0.8 speed for now. I might slow it down slightly because you can see it does, when stuff happens, it happens quick. So generally with this force that I'm up against, much lighter armor than my own. Heck of a lot less armor. There's 1 or 2 units in there that do pack on a bit of armor, but very light, much more sort of glass cannony of sorts. So I'm pretty comfortable, especially because of how much I've invested in my armor, with the amount of boys, the amount of thralls I've got. I know I can take a bit of a beating here, but you can already see how quickly my thralls are going down. The only thing I'm really thinking about is, damn, I'm glad that's not a halberdier taking that hit. Wretches of Angband coming up there, my very sort of basic spear and shieldmen. You can see I'm getting some assistance from the hunters from Panthan there. I don't have any stakes down, of course, so he can run freely through my lines. Always, you know, I'm probably I'd say I'm in the top 10 stake hater fan club, basically. Yeah, and I've got my reasons for that, but yeah, so you'll very rarely see me put down stakes. Thralls of Angband taking an absolute pounding here, and Stewie actually steps up against me, and I think he does that because I've not really got an intention to attack him just yet. So he moves up, and I think as well is to kind of anchor his right flank up against this camp here, so that I can't swallow him up. He can kind of rely on, like, man for man, even with my heavy armor, all my upgrades, man for man, he can sort of take my orcs on. At the end of the day, you know, I may be very well armored and everything, but I'm still an orc. So he kind of wants to keep the fight as tight as it can be. That's really quite cool as well. It could very well be a picture of Sauron. It could be very well a statue of Sauron. But I do like that, just sort of overwatching the battlefield, or overlooking the battlefield. That's quite cool. Over here, archers. Again, like I might. Oh wow! He actually charged at me. Shoot. Okay, right. Let's. I forgot he did this. Okay, so it looks like. I guess I was kind of what I wanted to have happened. You know, I like guys to charge me, but I guess I just didn't expect it. So I'm sending my wretches in there. My wretches are not going to last 2 seconds, but hopefully they'll just kind of keep Stewie from doing, I guess, maybe what he wants, and I can come flying forward, which I'm a little bit slow to do that. Buddy Pops, what's going on? Get in there. Get stuck in. This is the charge you've been looking for. Getting some more damage done by my thralls, but you can see the brigands coming around from Stewie. Just a really aggressive push, and yeah, my poor wretches are being just devoured really by this wild, certainly not wild humans, but sort of wild, very energetic, I guess, assault is what I'm trying to look for. And Panthan, it kind of took us by surprise. We really did not expect that charge. We were planning and preparing to be the ones to go in, and we thought they would force us to do that, let's say, with their superior sort of ranged power. But I'm more than happy to sort of engage him here. Again, this sort of more tighter battlefield. Again, he's maybe because I think if the fight happened right here, but the slopes as well, the hills, this is quite a nice place to fight. It's quite an interesting area to fight. See, my legionnaires have jumped on into the fray there now, and this is why I beefed up their armor so much. Oh wow, shoot! You can see there's some like grenades or something going off. Who threw those again? I can't quite see who chucked those, but my legionnaires taking that. It's got them spread out formation right now. But you can see, oh shoot, they're balanced now. They were, oh yeah, now defeat. So you can see, because I've upgraded their armor so much, and I think I've maybe even given them a melee upgrade too, they're not going to die too fast to this. I've taken what is quite a, dear me, so many grenades blasting away, but again, luckily that heavy armor, I think, is just saving my legionnaires, and that spread out formation is stopping it. It looks very dramatic, it looks like a great light show, but oh wow, okay, I am losing guys, but if he threw that right in amongst either this tighter spaced legionnaires or Lord forbid a unit of my halberds, I would be in tears in response to this. So yeah, happy enough with that. And this is just one unit of my legionnaires. One unit of my legionnaires is holding back this tide right now, or well, engaging this tide. I don't think Stewie wants to charge too much further forward just yet. Swordsman coming in, nice to see. Always good to get your allies working alongside you. And over here, my wretches have actually got a good surround on the brigands. Oh, that's nice though. And that was the dread helms throwing that. I knew they threw something. I thought they maybe threw like smoke bombs or something, but no, it seems to be these grenades. And he has gone into my halberds. Fantastic. Oh well, not fantastic for me, but good to see. Well, maybe we'll see. My poor halberds just taking an absolute pounding from that. Summon to the wretches, summon the halberds. Of course, the halberds are the target you want, but I'm countering that with my not my crossbows, just my thralls. Dear, the scourges though, that's a shame. I really don't want to see my scourges go down to that sort of fire. So Panthan is maneuvering around. He does have a massive army, and you see again, even with some of the archers of Talith Dernan coming over to shoot at me, still this arrow fire is ripping his forces apart just because how lightly armored he is. And yeah, it's pretty brutal. If we're able to take our time, we could maybe use the beast hunters to soak up so much more fire, but our hand has been forced here by the aggressive plays of the human faction. So we kind of need to get stuck in. Scourge is down tremendous numbers there. Like, I'm relying on them to do serious damage, because as much as I've been talking about my legionnaires here, my legionnaires aren't killing many people. They're taking a very long time to die, but they're not killing many people. I need units like the Scourges to work through them, and I need to get my halberds into that fight too. Once my halberds get in there, game over for the humans. You know, once I get that organized battle line, it's absolutely brutal and very, very tough to deal with. But until that happens, and it's just my legionnaires are just not putting out the damage, and getting victory is a distinct possibility here and there. Oh god, those dread helms though are going to change that game very, very quickly. Okay, they do use blades. Actually, it looks like quite simple but quite nice looking blades. Sending in my troll swarm, one over here into these brigands, one straight into the main line. Right into the guardsmen of the two captains, it looks like. Usually it's a good idea to maybe work your trolls in amongst the main line, but no, I decided no, let's get the trolls in by themselves. They can handle this. Old company of the House of Ransom there. Cavalry remaining back right now. I think my only way to really deal with that cav now is my crossbows. That's all I can do. If he sends those cavaliers out at me, it's going to be rough. Oh, we do have some little banelings jumping into the main line, but oh, wait a second, do they explode? Do they? What did that? Did the banelings blow up or something? Because they're missile cavalry. Do they? That's interesting. That's so rough. Oh my god! Holy smokes! I think it is. Holy smokes! That's perfect. Because there's no way that we can break through the bridge wards. So, oh, that just bust a hole in that line. Okay. You could definitely argue whether that was cost effective or not, but it was very cool. And I think it's definitely it would shake me, and well, it's shaking these boys. They got very scared by it. And of course, this is a very frightening faction. The Horrors, even as the faction is named. So there will be a lot of morale damaging effects getting thrown around. Either way, not too much my concern right now. Oh, they're throwing. Oh, they threw the smoke bombs. Yeah, you can see. So they look very large on my screen here, but they're throwing the smoke bombs, causing a good mess in this battlefield right now. And that's well, one, of course. I mean, imagine trying to sort of deal with this midway through the fight. You know, you're still seeing fire effects and there's toxin. The dread. That's the dread helms running away. That was my men running away. But we're sort of pushing through here, through the smoke. Absolutely just through the fire and the flames here. But goodness sake, that whole left flank is now just a mess of fire and smoke. Over in the center, my trolls battering down. They're having a good time, but you're seeing already a few of them going down. And the problem is my forces are all black and silver. His troops are all black and white. It's a bit tough to see. Zoomed in the mini-map a little bit so you can get an idea of what's going on, but yeah, it's a bit chaotic. Now I think because the realm of Cuarthol, they're kind of ambushed. They're very much an ambush type faction. So I think they are pretty comfortable fighting it in this very disjointed manner. They don't need an organized front line in the same way as I do. So having them spread out like this is not too damaging for them as it would be for some other very organized factions. But yeah, it's the Lancers. Like, he needs the issue. I do love cav that throw things, absolutely. But the issue with them is just making sure they get their lances down. That was a nice charge. Right in my Ravagers, there was 171 that was... Okay, bit nasty. So it was 179 before contact there. I'm sure I responded a little bit to that, but yeah, down to 149 after the charge. And I say, I've got no way to really counter that apart from shooting them. I've got my halberds, but Dread Helms come back from routing, so they'll get thrown back into the fray. But overall, it's looking okay for me. Still, Panthan's not had a proper engagement here just yet. When Panthan does engage, it will be aggressive, but it very much is, as I say, it's sort of as a glass cannon sort of assault. So it's either going to go very, very well, very quickly, or it's going to go very poorly, very quickly. And it kind of looks like the amount of firepower, although our arrow fire is so much worse than theirs, it's morale damaging, so much poison arrows, so many poison arrows coming in from the hunters, but it's a lot of it. Holy smokes. Because it's every single one of these spider riders is firing an arrow, massive forces of beast hunters opening up as well. You're seeing some of the smoke actually even spread over there from one of the Lancers. Ravagers coming around. Yeah, he's going to get a great little flank on this. They're already shaken. He's getting that's good, getting the cav around behind me. But then those raiders coming in from behind me. That's oh no, I got a break on them. Quick little rear charge into my back lines. My thralls are going to get eaten alive here by that cavalry charge. And as I say, I don't have many reserves here.
Our men are winning the battle.
I've got my tormentors, but my tormentors are all the way over on the other flank. I can't really just send something over to chase that cavalry down or plug gaps. Whereas you see plug gaps on the left flank, but you see organized fight. That's what we love. Angband, if you go toe to toe, as Angband, if you're able to force your opponent to just face you you know, right from the front. There's very few factions that can have a cost-effective exchange there. There's very few factions that can beat you full stop, but like, let alone you know, actually do it for an effective loss, or I say an efficient loss. My Bulldog's in there too, going toe-to-toe with the Finarfin. That AP is going to hurt me, you know, and I suspect that they are quite a skilled unit, but the Bulldogs are exceptional. Again, I packed the armor on. You know, you see the way I buffed them up. That's where I've got my general as well. So I'm taking a risk putting my general right in the middle of the fight like this, because of course if the general goes down, we're ruined. But I need that. I need the Bulldogs fighting. I can't leave them out of the fray right now. Brood Mothers opening up as well, and just the amount of firepower. Oh, these are javelin throwers, but it's just the amount of firepower that's coming in. That's a fire burst from, oh goodness me, the Hungering Maw. Sort of nasty spider creature over here. There's our Shelob looking face. Or seems to be spitting out a fiery artillery blast here into Swampert's lines. Again, slamming these guys in a melee engagement is not something we can really do. Even my halberds are gonna get obliterated by something like that. So something as fragile as the Horror's Assault is not gonna last at all. And it does look like that's how Panthan's generally dealing with this. He's just got his javelins, he's got his archer right up in the front, and just staring us down. And the archers, I really thought that let's say the archers of Talos Dairnin, these guys are out of ammunition even. I thought that the archers of Finarfin's would be really, really tricky for us to outshoot, but it kind of looks like just massive fire has allowed him to do that. My trolls do not have long left now. Halberds over here, performing quite well. My legionaries getting all around these surviving Dreadhelms. The spiders getting involved, trying to chase down the... looks like they were... Oh god, I love those guys. Those are very cool. Love the shield, but like a really simple design. I think the design for these guys is absolutely stunning. I love greens and black. You know, it's just dope, and it really matches the lore and everything that we're going for. Lancers here, pulling back, but getting shot constantly by the spider riders is not easy for them. Coming arbalists. Got my crossbow out, but I probably don't have much ammo, or I'm trying to just get stuck up. I think I'm just wanting to push more numbers through here. Just maybe overwhelm this, get a break or something. Over here, got the Wardens, not really wanting to get shot at anymore. Have just formed an organised front line. You're just seeing the resilience though of the Wardens of Nargothrond. Oh, they're being pulled back. Being either pulled back or reorganised a little bit. But that's even up against my Ravagers, all my Legionnaires, my Scourges are still in there, and my Halberds. They were able to kind of just stand and shrug that off. You know, even pulling back like this, okay, we can take some damage, So it looks like Swampert has sort of pulled back from his initial defensive line. Oh no, he's still sticking out, As Panthan is coming in for the charge now. These Skull Splitters aggressively throwing themselves in alongside the Beast Hunters out of ammunition. But oh, we've even got the Devourers of Children. Absolutely daunting creatures for sure. They're very aggressive little troll type things. Certainly not the same sort of resilience as trolls, but can pump out a lot of damage very, very quickly, which is quite good here. Marksman and Nargothrond with that sort of Swordmaster. Heavy blade that they've got, to be honest, yeah, will actually rinse these Devourers quite quick, but still, it's about this aggressive assault now that Panthan's doing. He's just trying to overwhelm, but you can see this is where Finarfin really shines. They're not an archer faction, of course, they're like a defense faction as far as I'm aware. So they've got competent archers, but their solid strength is their just resilient, powerful infantry. And we're seeing these Flesh Feasters here. As much as I sort of talked them up at the start, of course, they're getting absolutely eviscerated by the Arqueni. I'm saying that balanced right now, goodness me. They aren't 2 hit point. I'm pretty sure the Flesh Feasters are not 2 hit point units. Got the Sartor on their flank taking arrow fire, but again, from the shooting Sartor from the front, they have no problem with that. My Bulldogs have pushed through. Want to get into the back lines of the elves, find another target for them. Wardens set up here trying to guard the right flank of the remaining human defenders. Don't have too long left by the looks of it. Struggling to really get around them. And now, as you can see the minimap, it's just little totally individual combat. As I pretty much got the humans surrounded in every section of it. These spearmen do really quite well up against, as I say, my tormentors. And quality unit. I suspect the AP is not really helping them too much because it's more of a reliance on that spear defensive skill, but they're doing certainly not too bad. Not really killing many, of course, but Red Helm's broken there. Arbalests again just coming in for the manpower, the numbers at this stage, just trying to barrel over everything. Last defenders on that slope there now. Skull Splitters backing me up from Panthan. I thought that was a fire burst there, but no, it's just a rock. Where's the main engagement now is really just over here. My Bulldog's engaging the company of Prince Gwendor. This is a bit of a risky shout for me, because again, if I lose my general, it's not a good spot for me. And the company of Prince Gwendor are not to be screwed with. Saying that though, the Broodmother's in, backing me up behind me. Looks like the front line is sort of collapsing a little bit. You see the bridge wards trying to chase down the Broodmother. Getting those spears, lances, not lances even, sorry, pikes down to get that job done. Archers trying to deal with the last Devourers. Marksmen there holding the line. Even with all the fear causing damage that's being spread across this elven line, they're holding. I'm surprised about their Arquini. You know, I'm quite surprised they've gone down so quickly, but I guess the Flesh Feasters are just about finished too, and there's a lot of other foes that have been ripping into them. I've even got some of my Tormentors coming into the back lines. That'll be quite useful up against the Sartor, of course, getting through a good portion of that armour, but once again, they're Elven Spearmen, elite Elven Spearmen, so that's an exceptional amount of defensive skill those guys have too. Company Prince Gwendor kind of on this slope here, so any cavalry attack we charge at them is going to be blunted a little bit, as that last second before the charge, the horse has to climb up something, which sort of screws up the charge. That is one of the generals dropped. I didn't quite see where that happened, but I think it was over here. I think that's just, yeah, I think it was probably in this mob, or this one over here as we've dealt with the bandit general. Arrow fire coming in from the hunters, going to do a lot more harm than good there, Panthan. Oh no, maybe not, maybe not. I thought he was shooting at something in the middle of all this, hitting my forces. But again, my heavy armor, I can shrug off damage, not too bad. And yeah, it's now just down to the company of Prince Gwendor. My scourges, sort of, you know, grenade fires, smoke bombs, everything. They've weathered that, and they're doing not too bad. They've survived it. And then bridge wards there, still in a circle. I mean, I think the win definitely comes down to largely just Panthan's ability to like hold himself back. I think if Panthan was a bit less patient, you know, this is something that I see for myself an awful lot, especially when my ally across the field starts to get engaged. I want to just jump in. I want to get involved aggressively, and it's tough to switch that off and say, actually no, the best thing for me to do right now, the best thing for my team, the best thing for my ally is to hold back and still follow the plan and do this properly. And that was great, just using up his ammunition, just overwhelming. Even of course man for man, the elves were far better archers. Panthan had about 4 archers for every one of an archer. Some of them were riding spiders, so it's just overwhelmed him with that, and didn't throw himself into that organised front line. Those pikes would have happily gutted way upon way of his fragile forces. It would have been game over very, very quickly. We still got 1,000 frames, so I think the company of Prince Gwendor just sort of sticking out for a bit, but where's there something over here? Sartor. Sartor is still pretty powerful. You think the hunters over here maybe trying to find a little position to charge, but they do that wrong, they're gone. Let me just take a quick gulp of tea. But yeah, good. Then the we have here. As much as I love like ambush factions and like really aggressive factions, sometimes I'm not very good with them. I love to play them, but I'm not great with them, and I think like I would definitely struggle with the Cuarthol. I can't quite remember now that I'm not saying it, but yeah, it would certainly be a struggle for my play style. I do love Angband is if I had to win something for sure, Angband is what I'd go for. They tend to just be I love the slap that heavy armor across the board. It's cheap to do it, and big unit sizes as well. But we've seen on other Silmarillion fights just how quickly that can switch. You can have just like a general goes down. Even now, if my general got nuked, half of this would just be actually no, I'm out of here. It's such it can go wrong so quick with Angband. And yeah, you can see the numbers. I was more than double everybody else. Just swarm numbers. But again, no monsters. That's generally yeah. I love the monster units. I'm just not very good with them. I'm not good with like high risk units, I guess. But that's the same with just yeah, in every sort of Total War, usually the case. So anyway, my Bulldogs, yeah, right. I sent them in pretty early. Sent them in against some pretty tough targets. So I was pretty happy with them, of course. But big investment. Keep in mind, armor upgrades, everything on the go for them. Scourges of Gothmog took a hell of a beating from those grenades, but I think I needed them for the, I say, just to do damage, just to offset my very just trudge type of army. Halberds, they were my main damage dealers, of course. My trolls, I should have been more careful with my trolls, of course. Should have had them actually mixed in amongst my forces. I kind of just threw them in and just go without too much thought, which they could have done a lot better than they did. But hey, they were in there, they were taking hints and yeah, doing their part. My halberds is again, yeah, my main damage dealers. They were always the things that were going to win me that fight. Spear guard, I kept my spear guard, my tormentors back for most of that. They were really going to come in and sort of finish the job. This upper mid tier unit just to come in and just jab down and finish up whatever was left if my main line did collapse, or to shore up real dangerous positions in the line. Wretches, to be honest with you, 99 kills from a wretch, I'm chuffed to bits with. I think that's amazing. Good on him. Yeah, the thralls are the archers, the wretches are them. Tormentors, yeah, of course, that's what their job was. Legionnaires, 90 kills from a legionnaires, fair enough, but you can see my legionnaires were just not killing people. But that's what you're gonna get from a sword board. Not gonna do too much killing. And my arbalists as well, and my thralls, I didn't do that much with my range power. You can see my thralls got absolutely rinsed because the amount of people that sort of came back from usually the people that are healed first are the people that took range damage. So yeah, not always the case, but yeah, that's usually what you can see. So my thralls got absolutely ripped apart by arrow fire, and yeah, didn't get too much done apart from just soak that up, but that's what they're there for. And same with my arbalists, didn't really get good shots. I couldn't get around them, because the field was so narrow and the cavalry was such a threat. I just couldn't really get around them for a good shot. So yeah, a lot of my bolts were just going here, there, and everywhere, and they were just kind of more armored mass to throw into the fray later on, which yeah, I think they did that okay. So and of course Panthan, me up, being careful, and yeah, doing what had to be done there. But lots of fun. I don't think I've ever played as Cuarthol yet. But of course they're probably very different now than they used to be, so I will have to give them a go, but just the numbers differences is so funny to me. Panthan, of course, would be a much larger faction had he not, much larger numbers had he not taken so many big ass spiders. But yeah, cool. Anyway guys, thank you very much, and I will see you later.